Hi, this is Jacqueline here with the Grow Program. Thank you for growing with me this morning, kings and queens. I really, really do thank God for you. I do. I thank God that you are growing. I thank God that you realize that, Africans have been up under something. We have been gripped like ice, frozen like ice. And now, we're getting our breakthrough. The sun is starting to melt, it's starting to melt us and release us from this ice, I've been following that story, Jenny Cud, and I'm getting some conflicting reports. Some reports say she on vacation. Some reports say she ain't left yet. Some reports say that the judge is thinking about it. Either way it go, I think that it's outrageous for it to even be asked. You getting ready to go to trial for breaking in, doing some federal offense, but you want to ask to lead a country, and then they thinking about it. Okay, so they let you know, they let you know. They let you know it's something wrong, and that's the reason why we growing. In no city, in no state, and nowhere in the United States will an African break into a federal office and then ask the judge. He wouldn't even fix his mouth to even ask the judge something like that. But we got a bonding trip, by the way, that we need to go to because I had planned this with my wife and my co-workers, so Yana, I want to, and you think the judge the judge will laugh him up out of there, but they thinking about it. You broke in the federal bill, anyway, I'm gonna get all off of that because, see, that's one thing. We beyond talking. It's time for action. We beyond talking. It's time for change. It's time for reform. It's time to be writing some emails and letters and different things. And that's what I got going on, doing some different stuff. Trying to make a difference. It's a lot of different exciting things that's getting ready to happen with the Grow Program. I'm very excited about where we're headed, saddened about where we've been. But I will talk to you about this, about my favorite people to talk about. One legend that I love to talk about, because we wouldn't be here today if it weren't for this legend, Abraham Lincoln. Lincoln was born in Kentucky and was a lawyer and a senator out of Illinois who went ahead and rose to become president, who went ahead and freed the slaves against the opposition of the Whig Party, who was the Republican Party back then. And then he lost his life because of that. But I was doing some research on Lincoln and come to find out, I wanted to know when Lincoln decided to come from Kentucky to Illinois. And you won't believe this. And it ain't the ancestors. Lincoln came to Illinois from Kentucky on my birthday, March the 1st, 1830. So 1830, then we got 35 years later, he freed the slaves. Then we got 100, let's see, that would be 1865. So that'd be 102 years later. 102 years later, I was born, and to end the oppression of Africans. What has happened in slavery. And you see that picture that I have on my website, and it is of the slaves, and he done broke the chains and she holding on to him. But, from that is oppression. What we have been dealing with in this country, injustice, inequality. We can't stick our head in the sand and pretend like it ain't nothing going on. Like it's all right. Well, George Floyd was a criminal. Well, Walter Scott shouldn't have ran. Well, Eric Garner shouldn't have been selling cigarettes. I don't care what these people were doing. They did not deserve to lose their life because of it. And so that is oppression, that's injustice, that's inequality. Okay, you got the police officer who the chokehold is banned in New York, but he did it anyway. And nothing was done about it, except he lost his job. But he didn't face any charge. You performed an illegal maneuver on this man. He already had his hands up. You see all in the video, his hands are up. But you want to go for the neck, just like Derek Chauvin went for the neck. See, they know that cuts off circulation when you go for the neck. That's murder. When you go for the neck, that is murder. I don't care how you it's not manslaughter. It's not involuntary. It's murder. It is what it is. There we go back with that. It is what it is. It's murder. They went for the neck. He knew when he wrapped his arm around him in that chokehold, that's a position where that man was helpless. He could not get out of that. And he threw him to the ground in the chokehold and held it. And he knew that he was killing him. See, as they holding him by the neck, they can feel that lifeblood drain out of him. When George Floyd was laying on the pavement, ice cold pavement, and on the other end he got the man neck pressed down to make sure that the circulation was going, that he was leaving, he was dying. So when Derek Chauvin, on top of the other people begging for the man's life all around them, when Derek Chauvin heard him say, "Mama," he knew this is the death call. He calling for his mother. This is the death call. He knew this. He could have got up then. He already handcuffed. Why is your knee on his neck? Why? I really would like to. I just want to ask that question. I wish I could sit down with him and say he was already handcuffed. And you put your knee on his neck, and I just want to know why. What was the purpose of it? What were you trying to do by putting your knee on his neck besides killing? That's the only outcome when you restrain somebody by the neck. The only outcome is death, unless you let them go. Okay, so there's that. We are in this fight, people. We are in a battle. I'm telling you, not only a battle of good and evil for our own lives, but a battle, for our future generation, for our status quo, where we are right now. This is not okay. What we see on TV is not okay. Way back when I watched the police officers, I don't know how many, I forgot how many it was, 10, 12 out there with Rodney King, just beating it. I was gripped and I had to sit down and I just was paralyzed. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe they doing this to this man. It's all on TV. People riding by looking. They ain't stopping. What would they come? I don't. Okay, see, that's what I'm saying. It just all, it's the police, it's the racist police officers that are deeply planted in the police department, that are deeply planted in the judicial system, that are deeply planted up there with the lawmakers. It trickles all the way down, as it has throughout history, as it has throughout years and years and years. So many years. It's been 400 years later, and here I am still talking about it, still dealing with the after effects of it. Racism. For somebody to come outside his house, when I come outside my house, to stand there and stare at me, to let me know that I'm not welcome to even stand on the street. He don't even want to see me out there. Go back in my house. When I go back in, he go back in. I'm serious. At that time, I did not know what was wrong with that man. I really didn't. First I thought he liked me. He must like me. But now that look, it was that glare, that evil, and I'll never forget those eyes as he stood there and puffed on that cigarette and stared at me. Even when I turned my back, I could feel his eyes boring on me. But I'm gonna tell you something. Let me run into him again. I have a few nice words for him. See, I can tell you about yourself in a very, very nice way. And I make you turn around and go somewhere and sit down and think on and give you something to meditate on. I have my demeanor. I will never degrade anyone. I never, cuss anyone out. I don't do those type of things. I just have a way of talking to people. That's all. And we got to do better. Even how we treat one another. See, that's where this oppression really, we had a real problem with this oppression, is how we do one another in the community. How we act towards one another. See, because it's already a setup, but we are all a part of it. I'm telling you, sometimes we act like crabs in a bucket. Don't want to see nobody get nothing. Don't want to see nobody else have nothing. I wish that the athletes would come back to the community, because look, these kids look up to them. I understand we got the coronavirus and stuff going on. I'm talking about besides that, these kids look up to these people. These are their role models. But I like to know when's the last time they came spend some time in the community with these kids, shooting basketball, doing different things. Taking these kids. Besides, I know, it's some who do different things, who actually are part of the community. But that's what I'm saying. We as a whole, as a people, as a race, need to begin. It takes a village to raise a child. This is a future generation. It's really sad when a child go outside and all they got to look at is liquor stores and strip clubs. I didn't have that to look at, thank God, when I was growing up. It was kind of nice then, until they decided to go ahead and do something really terrible with sending the drugs, and that right there tore apart families. It killed people, it destroyed lives, but you got the CIA, you got the government who's supposed to keep this stuff out. But here it comes in, what is war on drugs? Who war? What war? Who in the war? It looks like it's just Africans and the drugs, and now some other folks getting involved, and now it's a problem. It's a real war now. Now we got to go after Walmart. We got to go after the pharmaceuticals. We got to go after different people now, because some other folks starting to get involved about these drugs. And I want to talk about these ladies. We are queens. We are not cum drops. We're not places where somebody decides to drop themselves at and going about their day. See, we are queens. We determine our destiny, and how you treat yourself is how somebody else gonna treat you. And if you treat yourself like a cum drop, that's how he gonna treat you, because you allow that. A person is only gonna do what you allow them to do. Stop letting these men treat you any kind of way. Stop listening to this music. I just happen to catch something else. See, that's really why I don't like going on Instagram, because it just pop up different things. When I go on there to try to send somebody a godly message, some foolishness pop up. So here come the new song by Cardi B called Up. And I don't know what that means. I don't really want to know what it means. I hope it means that we're going to rise up as a people, and we're going to come up out of this oppression, and we're going to come up over racial injustice, and we're going to come up out of racial inequality, and we're going to have police reform. That's going to be up. Africans on rise out of with substance, that'll be up. I hope that's what she's singing about, but it didn't look like it, from the video. But anyway, people, we can't listen to this kind of music. We can't do it, because look, ladies, we are women. See, the people who, there's this part of society who listen to that type of stuff, because see, the men degrade the women degrade themselves, and then there go, it's this cycle, because they never get out of it, because the women don't have no self-esteem. They don't think they nothing but a cum drop. They flaunt their bodies, they show this and show that. It's one thing, to accentuate what God has all, your curves, whatever, your natural curve, what God has blessed you with, but one thing to let everybody see that. You shouldn't be showing all of that. We are queens. We royalty. We don't walk around. I understand that's what sell records, but that sell records to a certain part of society. I wouldn't buy nothing like that. And I think the people who growing wouldn't buy nothing like that. What we want to come up. You sing about coming up. Sing about rising up. Sing about growing up over this oppression. Think about how a kid can grow up and be something. That's all. When you ask a child what they want to do, I want to grow up. I want to grow up and be. That's all a child child talk about, how they want to grow up and be. That's what I want her to sing about. Sing about what a child going. You got a baby now. Start thinking about your future. Don't leave a legacy where your baby think all she got to sing about and talk about is what's between her legs and what a man can do for her and what she can do to a man. See, it's more to life than doing that. We got to start instilling in our children that one day, this is their future. We are ancestors. We will be an ancestor one day. You have to think about that. What type of legacy are we leaving these children? What are we leaving them to think on, to listen to? As you ride down the car, I feel real bad about a child who that's all they hearing is all this rapping about killing and murder. I didn't hear that when I was a child. I heard about love. They sung about love. The music had a message. It was about coming together. And see, that's where this getting ready to stop. I'm telling you something. We growing. This getting ready to stop. We getting ready to start making some better music. We getting ready to do some different things. I ain't got, okay, now we done that. We done been there and done it. We know, okay, we don't want to do that no more. We want to do better. We do. We want to do better. We have to do better as a people. If we are going to beat this oppression, our love and our strength in numbers, our power is what's going to propel us through, people. I'm telling you, that's what's going to get us up out of this oppression. That's how we gonna come up, Cardi B. When we think about up, we gonna think about coming up out of oppression and rising, and being better as a whole, as a world. Greatness reached over oppression through wisdom all over the world. And remember this: people will only do what you allow them to do. Don't be that. Be better. Don't be no come drop. Be better. Don't be at somebody beck and call when they decide, oh, I'm ready for you. I won't see you. No. See, you royalty. You dictate. You determine. Because see, how you show yourself, that's how people gonna look at you, how they gonna portray you. Well, then that's what you are. See, now I thought about this morning, and I'm not wishing any ill will on anybody. God knows I'm not. But, she sing about this type of thing all the time. Now, what if this man turn around, somebody and turn around and want to put a song out about her, different things. See, we going here and we don't need to go there. That is very personal, private, whatever it's like, it's personal and private, and it's not something to be put in music for a child to hear. We done came away from love and went all to you see what I'm saying? We have went all the way to a dark place where women have went to degrading themselves and talk about what's between their legs and how it is, and this is how you got to, we look, I'm gonna tell you something about a woman. This one thing about a woman. A woman loves a queen. Loves when a man is interested in what she's interested in. Don't look at her and look at her face and look at her body and say, oh, I want to be with you because of that. She got a brain. She got a mind. She can think. She got dreams. She got goals. She got ambitions. Find out about that. Once you find out about that, then you will show her that you're really, really interested instead of what she got to offer down there, instead of what her body looked like. That is so insulting for somebody to say, want to know about your body, want to know, let me find out, tell me, let's be together. I want to be with you because I like how you look. Don't nobody want that. We got minds, we got brains, we intelligent. Just like what Joe Manchin doing with the vice president. Thinking he dictate and run her because he white and he Caucasian, and he don't run her no more. He never did. She's a senator. She was a senator. They both were senators. She just happened to be in one state and he was in another state. But because he got this white privilege, but because this judge is thinking about letting this woman go on vacation because of white privilege, he think he can dictate and talk to her any kind of way. But I'm gonna tell you something, Mr. Joe Manchin. Manchin out of West Virginia, I need to let you know that she is the vice president, and you need to address her as not Kamala, whatever you want to call her. She is Madam Vice President from now on, and she don't have to ask you, can she come to Virginia and speak to the people to try to pass some help for this coronavirus? You being stupid because you are undercover Republican. So you need to get on over on the Republican side where you really belong. Greatness reached over oppression through wisdom all over the world. God bless you, kings and queens. Thank you for growing. And tell someone to grow, because this is how we grow.